just kind of out there. You know, you don't feel any kind of level of restriction, almost to the point where, you know, maybe it's a little too dangerous. But you know, you've got I love driving with the windshield down. You know, in the time I've owned it, I think I've only ever driven with it up twice, and I hated it. I love just having that, the freedom, the wind in, you know, in your face type thing. So this Jeep is a Willys Overland Jeep. They started production of them in 1941, and at that time they looked a little different, but ultimately Willys Overland got the contract to mass produce these small type Jeeps that had to meet all these very specific specifications. And it was a small tractor company in Toledo, Ohio. So in '43 they got assistance with mass production from Ford. So there's actually two types of Jeeps. There's the Willys Jeep Overland, and there's the Ford Willys. So this particular Jeep started being mass produced in 1941. You know, and then basically in 1970, AMC takes over, starts building them, trying to get a market in the 70s. And that led to basically the purchase by Chrysler in 1987. And ultimately the CJ was replaced by the Wrangler as the, you know, the premier Jeep. And that's kind of where it is today. I mean, it's, that lineage is pretty straightforward. I think that, you know, they have captured a lot of the essence of what a Jeep is, you know, and you know, they're looking at this particular vehicle that's, you know, kind of the most state-of-the-art and the most up-to-date one that's available. The fact that they've captured the ability to remove the roof, remove the driver doors, and I think the rear doors as well. You know, and I've seen guys driving around in those type of Jeeps, and as I was telling you earlier, you know, I've had them actually come up and stop and say, like, you know, I wanted to see your Jeep, so I did a U-turn to come and find you. But it's still that same mentality. You know, I think they really have captured that look, and you know, I'm quite impressed with it, the way that it looks, and the way that you know, in the one that I drove, the way it felt. You know, as best you can. I mean, obviously you've got to, the evolution has got to include all the things that you know, safety and whatnot. Well, I'm actually not a Jeep guy per se. I'm more of a history buff, so I've always been a big history buff with military stuff. So it just seemed to be one of the most practical military type vehicles that you could own, that you could drive around rather than, you know, trying to get a tank or something. So you know, and I originally had thought, you know, I'd buy one when I was old and retired, and realized, well, might as well buy it now and have some fun with it. So that's kind of how I got into, you know, the Jeeps, and well, this particular Jeep anyway. So to have a piece of history like this that actually, you know, dates back to that kind of, you know, to something that's so iconic, you know, at first I didn't really kind of buy it because of that, but certainly now having owned one and realizing, you know, how significant this particular vehicle was, you know, to everyday life, and obviously the vehicles that we got now, is pretty cool, and I've kind of been adopted by you know, the Jeep community, I guess. You know, when they see me driving around in this, they tend to you know, give me the waves and honk the horns and everything, because this is, you know, the granddaddy of them all, I guess. So. It's actually pretty comfortable. It's you know, it's a smooth ride for the most part. You know, and it's just a great looking vehicle that, you know, it gets a lot more attention than I ever would have possibly dreamed of. I love just having a living piece of history that I can drive and go get bread and milk, and or, you know, pick up a coffee or something, drive through the drive-through. And I think one of the things I really enjoy is that interaction with people who want to know more about the history of it. And being a huge history buff, that's probably one of the best things, is to be able to, you know, have something that opens that level of conversation. You know, come out of a store and have somebody standing by my Jeep saying, like, what is this thing? This is great. It's not a fast Jeep, but, you know, that's sometimes the better part, is driving slow. You know, as we were talking, you know, you don't need to go fast in this thing. It doesn't go fast anyways, but, you know, sometimes that slow drive down a nice windy country road is just the greatest thing. So I really enjoy that. So when you look at a Jeep Rubicon or Wrangler, there's no question what type of vehicle it is. It's a Jeep. You know, it's not an SUV, it's a Jeep. And, you know, that's, you know, what makes this vehicle special is that, you know, it's the granddaddy of them all. This is the original, and, you know, to have a piece of that history is great.